Hi, everybody. Not as many here today, but it's great to see you all again. I know one of the areas that you're all very interested in, as are we, is Yemen and the humanitarian situation there. We have an update to bring you. I've invited our Deputy Assistant Secretary, Tim Lenderking. You've all met Tim before. He recently updated you on Yemen, and he's here to provide a new update. He only has time to take a couple questions. He has to run up to the Hill. So I'll just call on a couple of you, let him get out of here and on his way, and then I'll take over and answer the rest of your questions. Das Lenderking.
Thank you very much, Heather. Happy New Year to everybody. I am pleased to announce that over the weekend we had the arrival of the 4 cranes into Hodeidah Port in Yemen. This is a long-standing priority for the U.S. government. We had excellent cooperation and coordination with the World Food Program, who manages the transportation of the cranes. As you know, they were funded by the U.S. government, so paid for by us and the people of the United States, and it's been a priority of ours to get those cranes into Hodeidah Port, which is one of the key lifelines for humanitarian supplies into Yemen, and to get those cranes operational so they can begin to increase the capacity of the port to move supplies from ships that will be offloading in Hodeidah Port out into the center of the country, feeding the people of Yemen. The President, as you know, has been the leader on this issue for the United States. The Secretary has also played an instrumental role in making all of this happen. The Saudi-led coalition was also very instrumental in helping us with the logistics here. Secretary of State had a chance to speak with the Saudi Foreign Minister last Friday on a visit in Washington to help tee up this event over the weekend, and then this morning he spoke with the Emirati Foreign Minister also to thank the Emiratis for their support as a coalition member for getting the cranes into Hodeidah. I was here a couple of weeks ago and had a chance to talk to you in more length about Yemen. I did mention the cranes in that briefing, so I wanted to pass on to you this development because of the high-level importance that we've attached to it, and we're looking for the cranes specifically to drop about 50% the offloading time for ships passing through Hodeidah Port. So this, combined with continued engagement with the coalition on the Saudi-led humanitarian plan, which we had sort of a soft opening with, the Saudis briefed us on the plan last week in Riyadh, and we're continuing to work with them in engagements in the interagency last Friday with the Saudi ambassador. These will be continuing to be a major topic for us going forward. So I think this will help to alleviate to some extent the humanitarian crisis in Yemen. We want those cranes to get moving, get operational, and start offloading supplies from the ships. Be happy to take a couple of questions.
One quick one. I thought I read somewhere that the Saudis may have placed a limitation on the time that the cranes may operate. Is that correct? How long is that? And what are you doing to try to get them to extend that?
I think what you're referring to is that under a great deal of consultation from the United States, the Saudis agreed to open Hodeidah Port in December for 30 days, and they have subsequently said that they have not pronounced yet whether that 30-day period would be extended. We are working with the Saudis to extend that 30-day period. We do think it's important. They have their own concerns. As you know, they continue to be threatened by Houthi rocket fire into the kingdom, so that is a factor in their thinking in terms of what goes through Hodeidah Port. They have some concerns about some military equipment. We do not want to see any military equipment moving through Hodeidah. But as a key humanitarian lifeline, we do believe that Hodeidah Port needs to stay open for all the commodities, food, fuel, sugar, supplies, medicine that will be able to disperse throughout the country of Yemen. We'll be meeting tomorrow with American NGOs, international NGOs, to continue to get their feedback. In other words, it's one thing to say the cranes have arrived, and we're doing many things at the high level to work with the Saudis on the humanitarian plan and the way forward. What are the NGOs telling us? What are those who have people on the ground in Yemen reporting back what is the impact. Ultimately, that's what we're looking for, is the impact.
And was it the 19th that the port
That's
was open
correct.
until?
That's right.
You confident they'll let you keep it running?
We don't have full certainty of that. We don't have a commitment yet, but that is very much our approach and our goal.
Nicole from CNN?
Hi, Nicole Gallette, CNN. UN senior officials have flatly said they've seen no evidence of arms in any of the shipments going into Hudaydah. Where does the U.S. stand on that issue?
We also do not believe that Hudaydah is a major transshipment point for weapons. We have other areas that we're more concerned about, that we're working on. And so I think we want to continue to apply pressure where we see those pressure points happening, and we are doing that.
Saeed, final question.
A very technical question. Where are we in the 30-day period? Where are we now in this 30-day period? Because I know it was supposed to start in December, then it was slow go. They did not open it right away, so we're a bit lost.
Well, our calendar has it, I think as Arshad said, January 19th, so that's coming up fairly soon.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that Thunder King has to go up to the Delaware.
Thank you very much.
Unfortunately.